Okay, Tony, so tell me, what is about American Idol and its kickoff last week?
Well, absolutely. Yes, I'm actually now reporting on American Idol in the next couple of weeks. Be over in LA doing that. So, yeah, I think it's really good. It's the same as it always was. I think the major criticism I think last year was that the panel spent a lot of time saying everything was beautiful. In other words, they were a little bit soft. And I think that's the difference between the US X Factor now and Idol, in the sense that Simon and his panel is much harsher, much more honest, and I've got to say, a lot funnier. But look, as far as I'm concerned, if it works for them, don't fix it. The only other criticism I have about Idol is that now, during the audition shows, it is a little bit boring doing auditions in hotel rooms, where we're used to doing it with the X Factor in the UK and the US in front of a live audience. And I miss that whole buzz and excitement. So I think maybe if there's a change to be made, they should do that.
Quite right. And so, thinking about your brother then, and moving back to the UK, as that's where you're sitting at the moment, tell us about what's going on with BGT. Amanda Holden seems to be in the news again. She's pulling out of BGT auditions. What's going on?
Well, yes, it's all very bit. First of all, let's just say we all wish, on behalf of all my family, wish Amanda well. She's in hospital at the moment, and quite rightly pulled out of the BGT auditions, for the right reasons. Of course, what that does do, I think, is give Alicia Dixon a lot of pressure, because she's now the only girl on the panel during these audition filming episodes. So it kind of gives her a lot of pressure, because she's the only girl on the panel, and she's up against two rather large egos. And I'm not talking about Anton Deck.
Yes, talking of egos, if I may be so bold, what's going on with your brother and David Walliams?
Well, look, I think David Walliams, from what I've heard, is doing very well. I think the press has reported it incorrectly, as usual, in terms of that he's upsetting people during the upsetting contestants. I don't think so at all. I think David is just being himself. He's always a risk. It's always a risk, I think, when you take on comedians. It happened last year with Michael McIntyre. They're comedians. They have to do their own thing. I think Simon understands that, and David Walliams and Simon get on terribly well. So I think it's working very well. I haven't spoken to Simon about it, but I will do. But I think it's working great.
So what you're saying is watch this space. Now, your brother's well known for mixing it up with the panels. And just touching back on American X Factor, he did say that things hadn't gone as he'd planned. Is there going to be a mix-up this year in the panel? Is Mariah Carey going to replace Scherzinger? Where are we at?
Well, yes, I have heard this rumor, but let's be honest. I mean, Mariah Carey was one of the people that Simon wanted for the panel last year for the American X Factor. She was pregnant, of course, at the time, so she couldn't do it. So I don't see any reason why Simon, wouldn't want her for the X Factor in the US for next year. Because that's what he wanted originally. Now, there's nothing against Nicole, because Nicole, I thought, worked terribly well on the X Factor last year. There were some problems with her. She didn't get on with Simon, but that's all part of the controversy. That's what I think, the X Factor panel does so well, as opposed to, Idol, if you like. They don't argue so much amongst themselves, but that's what we do on the X Factor. So I think it's quite likely that Mariah may well come on board, but we have to wait to see. It's not my decision, it's Simon's, as always.
And just thinking about Simon then and the women in his life, is he engaged to Mishcon? This is the big question.
I thought you were going to talk about his mum. Well, look, I don't talk about Simon's personal life. He's made some statements this week in saying that he's taking a break from Mishcon. I haven't spoken to him about that. It's up to him to make those decisions. As far as we're concerned, I mean, us, the family or mum, it's just about him being happy. And he's got so much on his plate this year, probably even more so than last year, because of the pressures of doing BGT this year. And the rumours of him doing the British X Factor again, how that's going to work, we don't really know yet. So he's got enough to do, with work again. So I'm not sure about the personal side of things. I leave it up to him to make those announcements or those decisions. But I'm just concerned that if he's happy, he's happy.
And with so much on his plate, will he give up smoking? I mean, this is another thing that's been appearing in the press.
Oh, well, I'm always to blame for that, of course, as being the one that made him start smoking, apparently. But look, yeah, I mean, on a holiday, he doesn't smoke very much. I think it's just the pressure of work that makes him smoke. I'm just the same. I do understand that he's seeing a clinic to try and help him get over that addiction. And if it works, I'll be the first one. I'll be the second one in there to do it myself. So I hope it works for him. But again, it's about what makes him happy. If he smokes when he works, I know that we do that when we're filming, doing the X Factors and everything else. So he's always pops outside in the commercial breaks to have a cigarette. It's just his way of calming down, thinking about how the show's going to work. And it's hard to get out of those habits, I think. And I'm just the same. So obviously I told him I wish him luck with that.
Good. Thank you very much, Tony.
Up to, smoking a pipe, I don't know.
Well, that would certainly be an interesting look.
Yes.
Thank you very much.